I'm not Pressley by chance. I'm not Pressley by mistake. I am Pressley on purpose.
I'm not Pressley by chance. I'm not Pressley by mistake. I am Pressley on purpose. And today's episode of Pressley on Purpose is brought to you by Queens Royale, my lifestyle brand for both men and women who wear their confidence out loud every single day. So, hey, y'all, it's your girl, Adyna K. Pressley, and welcome to Pressley on Purpose. Listen, y'all already know this is not the buttoned up CEO version of me. This is the real me, the healed but still human me, the sister friend and the good girlfriend version of me, the funny around the way girl, big sister who done lived some ish me. Okay? And here we talk about the stuff I generally don't post, the moments that break you, the moments that build you, and the moments that lead you towards the healed version of you. And every week, we're getting into purpose, reinvention, boundaries, healing, and choosing yourself boldly, loudly, and without apology. So get ready, get your good going tea, get comfortable, and get honest because we're rising and we're rising on purpose. So today's episode is It's Not What You Say, It's How You Say It. Now, one of my biggest pet peeves is it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I think the reason why I feel so strongly about that is because I'm very cognizant of how I respond to people and how I talk to people. I'm a firm believer that you get back what you give, generally speaking. And I'm okay with someone not necessarily agreeing with me. I'm okay with someone who wants to give me constructive criticism. I'm okay with that. I'm okay that in a relationship, we may not see eye to eye, and you may have your version of a situation, and I may have my version of a situation. Because one thing that I don't do, and one thing that I don't believe in now in the place that I'm in, as far as my journey of healing and setting boundaries, is I don't believe in arguing. I'm not arguing with anybody. I'm just not. I would rather dismiss you. I good I'm so good for dismissing you, ignore you, not respond to you, because I'm a firm believer that no response is a response. But I'm not arguing with anybody. I'm not, because first of all, I know how I react when I get in that space. I know how I respond when I get in that space, and it's not good. I don't like the way it makes me feel. I don't like to be put into that place. So I rather just not even bother with arguing, because it's going to turn out terrible for everybody. Even for myself, it's just going to turn out terrible for everybody. So why even bother? And but again, I'm okay with someone not agreeing with me, or we may not necessarily be on the same page. I'm okay with that. But when you address me, okay, when you address me, be mindful of how you respond when you do. I first of all, I feel like it's a respect thing. It's absolutely a respect thing, because if I respond to you, or I say something to you, and I'm not raising my voice, I'm not being condescending, I'm not being disrespectful, I'm not using vulgar language, then that's what I expect from you. That's what I expect from you. You can say whatever it is you want to say to convey how you feel when you may have a difference of opinion. I'm okay with that. But if you come at me crazy, I don't know. I feel like sometimes when I get put into that position, and again, I try to always be mindful of how I respond to things before I respond, because I know I used to be in a place where I would not think. I would think after the fact. In most cases, the damage is already done. And now you're in a place where you're trying to correct it, or you're put in a place where you may have consequences that you may have to face for those decisions. And trust me, I've been in some situations where I suffered some consequences, and thank God, God looks out for babies and fools, because I've been a fool a few times, and He's gotten me out of those situations. I'm okay with that. Y'all know I talk the real, and I'm okay with admitting that. But now what I can say about those situations is that I learned from it, and I learned that, okay, before you react, Adyna, think, think, what are the consequences? What are the potential consequences that you could face based on how you respond to this situation? And I ask anybody who's watching this, please make sure that you do that. I remember seeing, and I think this is what really made me get to that place, because I remember watching a movie. I forgot what the movie was, and you probably saw it. And I'm having a hot flash, people, so don't mind me. I'm gonna put my fan on for a second. It's Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. Don't laugh. I got it for $5 at Primark or something like that. Having a hot flash. Anywho, I digress. But I saw a movie where it was Fat Joe in the movie, and he got into a fight with somebody on a platform, and I don't remember if it was him or the other. I believe it was the other person. Hit their head on a platform and died from blunt force trauma. That stuck with me because his life, in an instant, changed dramatically. Now you're in jail because you didn't think first, and you didn't think that your reaction was going to cause you to now have to go to jail and now have to live this life. That always stuck with me. And granted, I know it's extreme, but that is something that we need to think about. I know I've been put in a situation where, had the person that experienced the blunt trauma that I inflicted, I wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation. I was young and I was feisty. I always tell people that that's just who I was back then, and I'm a changed woman. But again, when I think about that, when I saw that movie, that resonated with me so much, because that could have been me. And I think that's what I like to tell people, is that you need to think. So that's the reason why I'm okay with being in a place of not necessarily agreeing with people, but again, just be mindful of how you convey your message. That's all I ask. And I, first of all, I also think that, that's the best way you should handle things. We are all grown, and we should be in a place of growth. We should always be growing, regardless of how old we are. I always tell people, when I learn something new, I was today years old when I learned something. That's my favorite phrase, because I am still learning every single day, and I embrace it. And I think that we should not be at a point in our life where we feel we can't be taught anything. Yes, you can. You absolutely positively can learn something new, if not every day, at least once in a while. And when I deal with people who come at me sideways and speak to me in a tone that I may not be comfortable with, one, I always make sure I address it. Two, I always make sure that I stop for a quick second and be mindful of how I'm going to convey how I feel about their response, to make sure that I'm speaking in a tone that I would prefer to be spoken to. And three, making sure that they are held accountable, and that they recognize where they were wrong in that situation. For the most part, and I guess this is a blessing, when I find myself in those situations, the people that I generally have to have this type of conversation with know how to say, you know what, you were right. I maybe should have said it this way, and hold themselves accountable, and make the conscious effort to change how they respond. You know, that's the beauty of it, because again, you can easily get into a situation where you just go into a full blown out argument. But one, you're not going to get nowhere. Two, all you're going to do is get yourself revved up for what? And three, generally speaking, nothing gets resolved when you do that. So I tell people all the time, I'm good with the fact that I am still growing. I'm still growing, but I think this is something that I've learned to really carry with me. Like I really carry this in my everyday because there's at this point in life there really should be no reason why someone can't express themselves, but also too, if you're going to express yourself, just be mindful of how you convey your message. And then I'm also at a place where I'm okay to agree to disagree. We are not always going to see eye to eye, and I'm okay with that. Some people have a problem with that. What I remember someone telling me that when we had a difference of opinion, I basically said, okay, well, you're entitled to your opinion just like I'm entitled to mine. So it's okay. We can agree to disagree. They had a problem with that. They actually had a problem with that. And I was a little baffled because I'm like, so you're okay with just having a constant debate to try to get me to see your way, for me to change my mind or change my views to yours. First of all, that's never going to happen. It's not. No, well, let me not say never. For the most part, it's not going to happen because when I believe in something and I stand on something, and y'all know I always say I stand 10 toes down about something, or I stand on something and I puff my chest out about it, then for the most part, it's very difficult to try to sway my way of thinking because I believe what I believe in. Now, granted, there are situations where you may have conversations with people and they may have make some valid points, and it may make you step back and say, okay, maybe they do have a valid point. Maybe I might want to take a look at it from that perspective. That's cool too. But for the most part, if we are having a strong debate and I believe what I believe in, it's very difficult to try to get me to sway my view. But again, I'm okay with us being in a place where you are entitled to your opinion, I'm entitled to mine, and let's agree to disagree. I I don't believe I'm the only person that feels that way. I think for the most part, most people are like that. You do have the small percentage of people who just like to always be right. Ooh, that's probably another topic I need to talk about because I can't stand know it alls. And I find that a lot of times that I may debate with somebody, generally speaking, is a know it all. Ooh, and I don't use this word often, but I despise know it alls because you don't know everything. You don't. Because if you did, you'd be much further on in your life if you did. So I can't stand know it alls. But, I respect a person who has their beliefs about certain things, and I respect a person who wants to express their beliefs. I respect that. But again, you can't push your beliefs on somebody else, and if somebody else doesn't agree with it, you have to take it for what it is. But again, be mindful of how you say it to a person because I've had debates with people and they're trying to push their beliefs or whatever their narrative is onto me, and if I have a problem with it, I find that sometimes they may want to be a little aggressive or be condescending when they are trying to get their point across, and or give me attitude. And that's another thing I can't stand. Don't give me no attitude. Not if I'm not giving it to you. Don't give me no attitude. So again, it's a big pet peeve of mine. It really is. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And let me tell you something. People can say some things, but if you're saying it and it doesn't come across as, being defensive, I'm okay with it. Just as long as you're not trying to belittle me, disrespect me, talk down to me, you can say whatever you like. Just don't come at me sideways. That's simple. So yeah. that is today's episode of Pressley on Purpose. And I hope that you enjoyed this episode. I hope that something in here resonated with you. And if not, maybe someone you know may need to hear this message, may need to hear this word, because I feel it was a word. I feel it was a word because sometimes people they need to hear it. But I just want to say that I appreciate you being here. And if there's anything you like, let me know. If there's anything that resonated with you, let me know. If there's a topic you want to talk about, let me know. Please like, share, make a comment if you can, and absolutely positively please subscribe. I really appreciate it. I want to make sure that my voice is heard by many, because I'm sure someone needs to hear what I have to say. And also, too, you can follow me on every single social media platform under Adyna K Pressley. That's Adyna K Pressley, Pressley. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram, and even on no, that's it. On Facebook and Instagram. But yeah, you can find me on YouTube at Adyna K Pressley. You can follow me anywhere. So I want to keep growing. I want to keep the conversations going. And yeah, and if you like the hat, this is Queens Royale. Again, this episode is brought to you by Queens Royale. You can find it at Queens Royale, queens-royale.com. All t-shirts and the hats are on sale, and there is free shipping for orders $25 or more. So get your Queens Royale streetwear and wear your crown. So that is tonight's episode. Thank you again. I love you. I appreciate you. This is Pressley on Purpose. Have a good night. One.
I'm not Pressley by chance. I'm not Pressley by mistake. I am Pressley on purpose.